topic, and this is end wall or Gable steel column creation in Tekla structures. So we are still detailing the end wall or the gable side of our structure here. So the connection we want to create is between the rafters and the gable column steel columns. So the tools, you know where to get them. It's under applications and components, and to get to applications and component, we click by left clicking on that button right there. So in here you just type the tool or type of connection or the number of the macro, and it will pop up here, or just type any number, and the number the macro that falls within that number, you will have everything on this side. So if you are working with PEB, I just type PEB and all the PEB tools will be presented to me here. Now in this particular case, I want to use this particular connection for the gable side connection. So once I've picked on that, I'll get the instruction from my left at the end here where I'm mousing here, as I'm being instructed to select the main component. So the main component this time around, let me pick the rafter and pick the column. So let's just give it some time to create a connection. So the connection has been created. So let me just come here. You can see there's some protrusion of this part of the column. I can come here and pick on and select PEB member update. I can just click there and it will be updated, and the right connection will be created. So if I come here, I'll be able to start doing detailing this connection. So we have this in place, and we can go further and start adding more details by double clicking on it. Once I've double clicked on it, I'll give some time to load all those instructions. So I have my editor dialog box or the property dialog box in place. So in here is where I'm going to feed in or key in all the details that I need. Now, as it is here, I think is much better for me, but I'll just have to take you through on how this should be done. Let me just come here and click load and click modify. So if I click modify, I'll be able to have completed that connection, but I'll take you tab to tab on what details that I had entered there. So let me just give some time to process that information. Then we'll move tab to tab to display the settings that I had keyed in there. So let me just give you some time and click apply and give it OK if you want to walk away with that command. So you can see I have this in place. So if I go tab to tab by clicking picture, you'll see the details I had entered there, an offset of a 90 and offset of 90. And on the bolt section, I keyed all these bolts here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And number one, this side, we always use this side. On the other side, just feed in 0 so that you don't get messed up with so many bolts in place. So I've showed you that. I'll come to parts. That part I had given it 250 and the thickness 10, and the beam plate I can just leave it as it is. The long stiffeners, just leave it as it is. It's not such important information to key in. Stiffeners also, we can extend the stiffeners as you had done before by keying in the heights of there, and you can see I left. If I enable all these stiffeners, let me just copy first, then get rid of that. If I enable all those stiffeners that were here, you'll see how the stiffeners are crowding this part. So I don't need all this. So I had to delete everything, because to delete you have to count. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So I had to delete some of them. So I came here and copy pasted that. I'll come here and copy paste that. I'll key in the number of the stiffeners I want to get rid of. 1. I want to get rid of 1, 4, and 7 here. So that's why I keyed, I typed that and I click modify. And once I click modify, I'll delete the unnecessary stiffeners that were fixed there. So if I come to rotate, I'll be able to rotate that and I have that in place. So I'll go to column by column and now start placement of the stiffeners. of the connection between the rafters and the column. So let me pick on that, and I'll come here and pick that as the main member, pick that as secondary member, and give some time to process the information. As I go, pick that and pick that, and give some time to process the information. So let me just zoom out and I'll pick this and that, and give it some time to process the information and do this here. So once I've done so, I'll move to the other side and do exactly the same thing by clicking the main part as the rafter, secondary part as the column, and come here and pick the rafter as the main part, the column as the secondary part, and come here, pick the apex and pick this as the secondary part, and I'll come here and do the same thing and pick that as the secondary part, and come here and do exactly the same thing and pick here this one as a secondary part. Now on the apex here, I don't want this stiffener to stretch all the way to the other end. So what I want to do is just to double click on it. So once I've double clicked on it, I want to get rid of those stiffeners that are protruding upward here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to double click on it. So once I double click on it, I'll be able to now disable the stiffeners on the apex, or on the apex side. So if I come here, I'll be able now to maybe come to stiffeners there. So under stiffeners, I'll just give some time to load that information. Under stiffeners, I'll go to the direction where I'll be able to see the stiffeners, and the thickness I didn't enter there. So let me just come to picture here. So under picture, I need a type of stiffeners that will not have this one. So if I pick on that and click enter there, so let's see whether that information will be processed with our stiffeners at the bottom end here remains intact. So let's just wait for the result when that information that we just keyed in or typed is being processed. So we've left out that. So let me just give it some time to process that those has been left out. So we have just this one in place. So we can just go further and also enable the stiffeners on this far end. So I can just go ahead and get rid of this and click modify. So the moment I click modify, I'll get back these stiffeners in place. So you can see we have so many stiffeners on this side. So we can go ahead on the opposite direction and do exactly the same thing on the apex. So if we come here and double click on this, we'll be able to apply the same approach. So let me select the apex, the picture tab, and I'll come here and select on that. Come here and select on that, and select the one that does not have the stiffeners protruding upward. So let me come here on the stiffeners also, on this stiffener tab, and I want to get rid of all this. I don't want to delete any stiffener on the web. So once I've done so, I'm going to apply, click modify. So once I've done so, I'm going to close this editor dialog box or property dialog box, then refresh so that we have a closer look of what we've achieved. So let me left click on empty screen, then right click and come to redraw. So once I'm in redraw here, I'll come and pick my rotation point and rotate this. So you can see how this has been created, nicely done, and super nice. You can see that. So if I turn it around, you can also come to this section and you can see that. But if I refresh my my PEB member, all this this is just temporary. It will disappear after some time. If I come on my PEB here and select on refresh PEB member, you lose those unnecessary parts. So you can see this one, it hasn't moved, but we'll just give some time to process that information. So we just leave it, and it will be off at some point. So you can see this one also, it hasn't moved, hasn't disappeared. This one has disappeared, but we'll refresh everything and we get rid all of them if necessary. But if they're not leaving anytime soon, we'll change the design, where we have the stiffeners here. So it's all about that, and I hope you've learned something, and we'll move to a different topic, and you can see our structure is coming bit by bit and very, very attractive. So I can see even the opposite direction here, we still have these components, this member protruding all the way up. So it's always advisable you counter check your connection prior to moving ahead or to a different step. So in here, I'm going to just disable that and click apply, and let's see what's going to happen there. I'm going to select on that once again and click on this. Give some time, it's still processing the information. I've just clicked and something there, so that's why you see it is kind of dragging, and you can see that has changed, and that has changed, and you can go ahead and click apply and give it an OK. So this should not bother you. This is once you give the instruction, it will be changed. It will change automatically. So let me just double click on it just to see how it responds. So if I come here and select on that and click modify, and I'll be able to get that information right on the spot. And if it doesn't respond, we give it a different connection type, so that we don't want to see this side of the flange extending all the way to the other side of thereafter. So that's not right. So that I've showed you how we can change that by selecting on that. So just click on empty screen. We'll close this. Then don't forget to save your work. I'll come and save this work. So let's meet then on a different topic, and that one will be now we can start placement of the mezzanine columns here, and maybe the joist or beam mezzanine beams for the mezzanine. So let's meet then on a different topic, and bye bye.